Hi guys, it's Tasha, and I just wanted to come back and give you guys a quick follow-up video in reference to my NACA home buying journey process. So, surprise, surprise, unfortunately, I will not be continuing with NACA. I've actually ended up going FHA, and that's all because I was not qualified through NACA for as much as home for as much of a home monthly mortgage that I was hoping for. That number one, I just want to say that doesn't negate the fact that NACA is still a great home mortgage program to go through. The program works. You just have to stick with it and you have to follow the rules and just be consistent and diligent. The program is awesome. Why didn't NACA work for me? So NACA didn't work for me because initially I went home searching prior to me even starting the NACA program. I went looking for my home going in with FHA. I went and I selected a new build to be built. I think I started this in August. I believe I started this in August. Found the house. I went ahead and put the deposit down to go ahead and get it started. And in the midst of me going through FHA with this new house, NACA has set me up with a upcoming appointment. So me and my realtor was thinking, hey, why not see if we can go ahead and get qualified with NACA during the process of us building a house, since we have a couple of months until it's complete. And if we can squeeze in and get a NACA mortgage to cover it, we'll just switch over lenders and just, at this point, it's whichever lender has the best mortgage wins. And it was working well until, I worked with I'm here in Charlotte. I work with the Charlotte office. They were very responsive. I've got pretty close follow-up appointments from the time. I've never had a follow-up appointment months out. It was always within the next month, a couple of weeks, but it was not like if they see me in August, I wasn't going to see them again till December. I've followed up with my mortgage counselor in July, in August, October, and once a month she calls me, and I felt like two of those follow-ups were actually redundant. She was just asking me if I had any questions and to just possibly upload information that I've already uploaded, as all NACA MCs do. So two of the follow-ups were actually just catching up, saying, "Hey, girl." But what happened was, once I did get through the process and I did get to the qualification process, NACA did not qualify me for as much as a monthly mortgage that I would need for the home that I selected. So it's not so much a NACA's fault, and it's not so much that I didn't listen. It's just I already had a home in mind, and I'm not willing. This home was built from the ground up. I selected and personalized it myself. I was just not willing to use or go for another home. I'll use another lender, but I'm not leaving I've been with this house from the ground up. This is my baby. So I'm not so mad about the home because I love it. A little disheartened about not being able to get the best mortgage in America with NACA, but I'm able to use actually some down payment assistance programs that NACA did not accept anyway or work with. So I'm trying. It's kind of balancing out. The down payment that I'm required to bring for the FHA is the same amount that NACA required I have for minimum funds required. So, and I'm able to buy down my rate with FHA as well. So I'm really coming in close with a good deal with this FHA. I just know it's not going to be as great as NACA's, but I'm coming in pretty close, which is fantastic for me. What else would I say about NACA? It's such a great, great, great program. And honestly, had I not had a home selected that I loved, I definitely would be shopping within my affordability. Honestly, the thing that probably was most disheartening for my situation is because and I'm going to be transparent, I asked NACA to qualify me for $1,200. That's what my current rent my current rent is for the past 4 years. That's what we've discussed ever since July, that I will be working on a $1,200 mortgage payment. I did not have any payment shock, being that I was already paying that and I was comfortable with that, and I've been paying it for 4 years. Um, when I did not get qualified for that, what they did qualify me was for 1123, which was so close to 1200. And I tried my best to figure out how can I make 1123 work with NACA, because I was like, let me see if I can buy my interest rate down as much as possible. And even with buying my rate down to the minimum amount that I can buy it down to, it still wasn't working excuse me, due to the location of the property that I'm buying will be in a subdivision that has an HOA. So the HOA actually took me out of qualifying with NACA for this piece of property. I completely understand NACA is going to qualify you for what you can afford, not what you're comfortable with, not what you've been paying for an X amount of time, what you can afford according to documented income. And then they take that and equate your debt into it, and honestly, you're not going to get a penny over what you can afford with NACA. So if you feel like you might have a high debt ratio, or maybe your income is pretty low, and you already know 31% is not going to get you much mortgage, the only other way to get more is to decrease your debt and increase your income. So you can pick up a second job. However, you need to work that second job at least 2 years for NACA to count that as income. So if you want to start the program, just have that in mind. It's not something that you can start and say, oh, let me go get a second job and they're going to count that. No, you're going to have to work there for 2 years in order for them to count that. So possibly paying down some of your debt. But however, that in my situation, I have one car, one credit card. I have no debt to really come. That debt is even low. It is really hard for me to come down. I only have 2 pieces of debt. I actually was a candidate or a participant, a member of NACA, that had to provide alternative credit, because you have to have at least 3 lines of credit plus your plus your rent situation. So I had a car payment, I had a credit card payment, and I was paying rent. I just needed an additional line of credit, which I used my phone bill. You can use a utility, a gym membership, something like that. And NACA, we use that as alternative credit. Anything that has some kind of revolving credit line or something that you're just paying consistently. Yes, that's what happened with me. I'm going to go ahead and follow up or continue with FHA. NACA is such a great program. I would recommend it to any and everyone. I'm excited about my home. I'm about 3 weeks away from it being ready for delivery. I'm at the part where I just got my homeowner's quote, and I need to pay my appraisal, and there's probably a few more other things, but everything's pretty much ready to go on the FHA side. I've been pretty much guaranteed I'm going to close on time, and that's one thing that made me think, okay, maybe I was really supposed to go the FHA loan way opposed to NACA, because one thing I was concerned is I'm 3 weeks away from when the house will be delivered, and as of late November, around Thanksgiving, I hadn't been submitted to credit access yet. So I was a little concerned that maybe I'm not going to close on time like so many other NACA stories I hear say. But luckily, I don't have to go that way, and that anxiety is off my shoulder. I don't have to think about after the closing date, because that's one thing. Another thing, my seller was very apprehensive once I told her we would be switching lenders, and she told me she was very, very familiar with NACA's reputation of having delays and closing after the date, and that I possibly would be responsible for some fees if it did occur. We closed after the closing date. So I got a little bit of anxiety off my chest going the FHA route. So yeah, guys, that's my update. Unfortunately, I'm not getting the best mortgage in America. However, I am continuing with FHA, and I would advise anyone who doesn't go through NACA or who feels like maybe NACA wasn't the right program to go through. We have so many programs that fit individuals in any kind of situation. We have the USDA, we have the FHA, and one thing with using a conventional loan or FHA loan or USDA loan is that you can now apply and stack multiple down payment assistance programs that does not work or NACA doesn't work with. So that's one way I'm able to still get pretty close in my rate marginals with FHA and NACAs because I'm able to use two. I'm using two down payment assistance programs that NACA did not work with. So it's gonna like bring this whole thing full circle for me. Um, I would just say, like I said, three tips I would give anyone to go with NACA. Make sure you stay in communication with someone from that. If it's not going to be an MC, make sure it's the office manager. If it's not the office manager, try to reach out to the regional supervisor. Stay in contact through email with services@naca.com. And if you have to, call the local office. Tip number 2, do not go looking for a house prior to getting your affordability letter. I promise you, it is very heartbreaking if you are not qualified for for as much of a mortgage as a home that you've already fell in love with. It's going to break your heart, and you're gonna try to find alternative ways. Now, if your realtor and yourself is able to do the due diligence and find down payment assistance programs or grants that can get you as close as possible to a great deal such as you was going to have with NACA, then go that way. However, I wouldn't advise a person who was going the NACA route to flip it and go conventional unless your credit score is great. If you don't have I would say even if your credit score isn't good, if it's fair, I wouldn't suggest going conventional if you were going NACA just for the love of a property. I feel like NACA is for people who are making a modest and low income, and we're not going to get into these places for a affordable amount, a decent amount, if we don't go NACA. FHA is cool. FHA is cool, and I think it's only working in my benefit because I'm able to use multiple down payment assistance. So please look for a property within your affordability range. That would be my tip number 2. And tip number 3, keep your web file updated. Every time you get paid, every time a bank statement is generated, every time a credit card statement is generated, anytime there is a LOE that needs to be uploaded because maybe $100 was withdrawn or deposited to your account, I swear, keep that web file updated. It got to the point where I knew once a week I needed to go to the web file and update because I knew once a week I was at least getting paid. So at least if I'm just up there uploading a pay stub, I know it's updated. And then if it's the week that my bank statement drop, I know I have a couple of things to upload to my web file. So I keep your web file updated. So keep your web file updated. Make sure you stay in contact and stay on top of anyone that's working with you, whether it's your MC, your office manager, your regional manager, or supervisor. Stay on top of that in the communication with them, and do not go find a house before you get your affordability. That was the key thing in my situation. However, I found the house before I even got started with the NACA program, so I did not listen to the rules before I even knew the rules, if that makes sense. But please, I encourage everyone to continue with NACA. It is a great program, and I wish everyone much success in it. It doesn't get any better than NACA. Unless you have a badass, excuse my language, but unless you got a badass realtor that's going to find every penny in the world that you are eligible for in order to stack and assist in your down payment, NACA, no one's going to beat it. Nothing's going to beat NACA. Um, So, now that I gave you guys an update, I want you guys to comment below and let me know, where do you want me to take this channel now. I can continue and let you guys know how the ending of my journey for FHA ends, and let you know what goes on from here on out. I only have about 3 more weeks, so I can carry you guys out with me on a journey for the next 3 weeks and let you guys know how FHA ends for me. Or I can stop, being that it's no longer about NACA, and just this will probably just be it. Or I can change the complete context of this channel, and I don't know, maybe I can go into, once I'm in my home, the home ownership journey, like day one of being in my home till sometime after. You guys can comment and let me know whatever you guys think I should do. But I just wanted to follow up and let you know the NACA journey has ended for me, and I am picking up with FHA. And much success to anyone able to get down with NACA. Much success to anyone that's going to work with FHA. Much success to anyone that is out there trying to get a home in 2020, 2021. I mean, we've been hit with so much unexpectedness this year that the least that we can do is treat ourselves and buy ourselves a home and have a secure home to be in for the next whatever. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. I'm going to head out, and I'll see you guys in a few weeks, because yeah, it's full steam from here. So I'll be giving some updates if you guys want me to continue with the FHA.